Baker Mayfield said in the You Never Know podcast, hosted by Mike Period. He used to be Mike Stud. Now he's Mike literally with a little stud at the end of his name. It's Mike Period. That's the guy. Sims and I spent a lot of time this morning trying to figure out who this guy is, why he didn't seem to know all that much about Baker Mayfield's football career, and why they just whiffed on so many opportunities for meaningful follow-up, because there were so many things I would have loved to have asked Baker Mayfield based upon the things he said sitting on that couch next to the dog that stole the show.
Never moved.
So if the Seahawks are interested in Baker Mayfield, because he clearly has them on his radar screen, what does the deal look like when you consider that the Browns owe $18.8 million? If they cut Baker Mayfield, someone pays him $1.035 million, and the Browns are on the hook for the rest. If they cut Baker Mayfield, maybe he goes straight to Pittsburgh, which I don't think the Browns would want. What do the Seahawks ultimately do here? And now that the Seahawks have Geno Smith, see, maybe they have the luxury of time, because I think there is an argument to be made. Hey, Seahawks, do the deal now so you get Baker Mayfield in your building so he's ready to go. You don't want to wait until July to do this. You'd like to have him around. You'd like to get him up to speed. And as long as the Browns hold his rights, the Seahawks don't. But, Charean, I'm having a hard time figuring out exactly how this deal would look. Because if I'm the Seahawks, I may say to them, you know, if you cut him, you're still paying him $17.7 million, and you don't want him to go to Pittsburgh. So if you want to be sure he doesn't go to Pittsburgh, you send him to us, we pay him $1.035 million, and you give us a sixth-round draft pick, and that's how we'll do this deal.
Yeah, I think that's a fair deal, and I think it's a deal that the Browns should absolutely jump on to keep him from going to Pittsburgh. It makes sense, really, for both sides. The Seahawks have nothing to lose here, Mike. He plays for him 1 year. If he plays great, then guess what? They're going to be willing to pay him because they have their quarterback of the present and the quarterback of the future. So they're going to be willing to pay him if he plays well. This, to me, is just a no-lose for the Seahawks, and it's a no-lose for the Browns. I don't know what they think they're going to get, but they're not getting much for Baker Mayfield because everyone knows that he's not going to be on their roster once training camp starts. So if they can't trade him, they're going to have to cut him, and they're going to be responsible for most of that money anyway, Mike.
Yeah, it's a fascinating situation. And the one thing that I really would have liked to have seen Mike, period, drill down on yesterday, whether or not Baker Mayfield is going to play along with this. You know, before the Deshaun Watson trade, the thinking was Mayfield's just staying away from everything to get the trade that he wants. Now, to get the outcome he wants, he may be best served by saying, I'll be there with bells on. I'll be ready to go. I'm ready to practice. I'm ready to participate. I'm ready to do whatever you want me to do. And it creates a distraction at a time when they are already dealing with Deshaun Watson and his various distractions, 22 of them to be precise. You don't need Baker Mayfield there saying all sorts of things. Why don't they just cut me? Hey, if they got a problem with it, you know, they know what to do. All they have to do is cut me. I'm just here trying to get better at playing football, and until I get to go where I want to go, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to practice, and I'm going to be around the guys, and I can't imagine the Browns wanting that. And, see, there's a problem with pushing that too far, though, because you may turn off your next suitor unless there's some sort of cahoots or tampering that's going on. Not that tampering never happens in the NFL. But that's the angle that I would really want. If I had a chance to talk to Baker Mayfield about it, I would say, how are you going to deal with the Browns slow playing this as they wait for an injury, as they wait for the offer they want, as they keep you on the roster indefinitely at a time when you definitely would like to be with a new team? How hard do you rattle the cage to get out of Cleveland? I don't know that he's thought that through. I'd like to think that he has. He seems like a smart, self-aware guy. I want to know what his plan is for dealing with the Browns. He already said he feels disrespected. He already basically said they lied to me. They told me one thing and did something else. Why does he feel inclined to play ball with the Browns at this point? They created this mess. They've already moved on from him. Why should he sit there and wait for the Browns to have their ideal trade opportunity open up for them while Baker Mayfield is just lingering and languishing and waiting to see where he's going to go?
I would love to tap into some of those conversations between Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield, because you're right. It would serve Baker Mayfield well to show up. It would serve Kyler Murray well not to show up. So I'd love to hear those conversations.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.